Hi everyone, I am a fan of Nhat. I have followed and witnessed every arduous journey she has gone through, and today, with all my sincere emotions, I want to tell you that story. Can you imagine a young mother who has just gone through the first difficult months with her little angel, now has to face her first day at work? That is the story of Tuna and her 4-month-old son Henry, the day that every mother has to face, the moment of having to leave her child, to step out into society, to continue her career journey and worry about the future. The episode "Does Tuna Have the Heart to Leave Henry Home Alone in Tears?" is a heartbreaking truth. When Henry was too young to understand, he could only cry when his mother left. On one side is the responsibility of being a mother, on the other side is the responsibility of being an adult. How will Tuna choose? Please watch this video with me to fully feel the deep emotions and find the answer you are most looking for. Early in the morning, Tuna gently opened her eyes after a restless night. Henry, the little boy, was still sleeping soundly. Looking at her son, Tuna's heart ached. But today, Tuna had to go to the company, had to step out into society to start a new journey. When she stepped through the company door, Tuna felt like she had just stepped into another world. The sound of the keyboard, the phone, and the hurried footsteps continuously made her somewhat overwhelmed. The feeling of being small and lost suddenly came over her, as if all eyes were on her, the girl who had just left her young child to start over. Ms. Lan, the head of the Human Resources Department, was the first person to appear with a gentle smile. That friendliness made Tna feel less tense, but when signing the paperwork, her sharp gaze made her immediately remember that this was a real job. There was no room for clumsiness. Tuna felt a slight fear in her heart. Do I have enough courage to not disappoint anyone? Tuna swallowed her saliva, trying to smile, but her heart was trembling. The other colleagues were diverse. Some warmly started a conversation. Some just nodded slightly. In that strange space, Tuna felt both warm and anxious. She was afraid of being lost, afraid of being judged for her clumsiness, afraid of unintentional scrutiny. Sitting in her new workplace, Tuna gently placed her hands on the table, her palms still wet with sweat. On one hand, she tried to reassure herself that this was an opportunity to grow. The noon sunlight spread golden on each row of green grapefruit. As soon as she set foot in the large garden, Tuna squinted her eyes. The space was airy but also harsh. Beside her, Alex and the grapefruit garden owner walked briskly, holding a small notebook, explaining in a firm voice, "Here, each grapefruit tree has a code, leaf condition, number of fruits. You have to write it down in detail, then summarize it. There will be a report this afternoon." Tuna's heart suddenly beat fast. She hurriedly took out the notebook, her hands trembling as she took notes. Alex spoke quickly, continuously pointing at each tree, each young grapefruit, then giving numbers about productivity and output. The rapid sound was like a challenge to memory and speed. Sweat poured down Tuna's forehead. Her handwriting was initially crooked, some places even smudged with ink. Fear flashed through her mind. What if I miss a note? What if I can't summarize it? Going deeper into the garden, the shade from the trees helped Tuna calm down. She began to observe more closely. The faded leaves signaled a lack of nutrients. The heavy grapefruits showed that the harvest season was coming. A few skinny trees needed special care. Alex glanced over, his initially suspicious gaze now turning to a secret surprise. He said nothing, just continued to lead Tna through the garden. With each word he said, Tuna gradually understood how to arrange, highlight important ideas, and categorize them. The initial anxiety gave way to intense concentration. As the sun gradually set in the west, Tuna closed the notebook, feeling both tired and proud. Although she knew the road ahead was long, Tuna smiled. At least, the first challenge had taught her to stand firm, not only on her feet, but also with faith in herself. However, as the afternoon shadows fell, the emptiness in Tuna's heart suddenly filled her. In the rustling sound of the wind through the grapefruit trees, she suddenly remembered Henry's crying at home. The image of her little son, his eyes filled with tears, his hands flailing for his mother's warmth, made her heart ache. After a busy day, she thought she had temporarily forgotten her longing, but just a moment of quiet, that feeling surged strongly again. She wondered, is my son good now? Is he drinking enough milk? Is he crying for his mother? That thought made Tuna's eyes blur. The mother in her wanted to immediately run home and hug him tightly. Late afternoon, after finishing her report, Tuna walked out of the company. The city was gradually sinking into the sunset, the stream of vehicles hurriedly returning home. Her footsteps were heavy, not because of the fatigue of a long day, but because of the longing that was filling her chest. When the car stopped in front of the yard, Tuna almost rushed into the house. As soon as she opened the door, she caught Henry in Alex's mother's arms. Tuna's heart felt like it was bursting, tears rolling down her cheeks. She hugged her son tightly, kissed his soft hair repeatedly, and whispered in a choked voice, "Mommy's here, Henry, I'm sorry for leaving you alone." At that moment, all the tension in the company suddenly disappeared. In Henry's arms, Tuna clearly felt that this was her world, a small but warm world. Looking at her son, looking up at her with his clear eyes, Tuna felt a pang in her heart. She wondered, was she wrong to choose to go to work at this time? Alex walked in after, stood still for a moment, then said softly, "You did very well on your first day at work. Min also praised you." Tuna still buried her face in her son's shoulder, softly replied, her voice lost. "I'm not sure I can continue, Alex. All day today, I only thought about Henry. Seeing him cry, I felt like someone was squeezing my heart. I want to stay home with him, at least until he's a little older." Alex was momentarily stunned. He understood that this was not just a matter of work, but also the struggle of a mother. He approached, his voice gentle but firm. "I understand how you feel, but you also know that a career is very important. If you quit now, will it be easy to come back later? Henry's future also needs stability from you." Tuna shook her head, tears falling down Henry's cheeks. "I know, but Henry is too young. He's only 4 months old, Alex. I can't bear to leave him at home when he doesn't understand anything yet. Every tear he shed today, it haunts me forever. Wait until he's a little older, when he's stronger. Then I'll go to work. For now, I just want to be with him, every hour, every minute." Alex silently looked at Tuna. He saw in her eyes a determination, a strong love that no reason could replace. He sighed, nodded slightly. "If that's your decision, I'll respect it. But promise me, one day, you'll come back. Not just for work, but for yourself too." Tuna smiled through her tears, hugging Henry tighter. In her heart, the conflict was still there, between the desire to grow up and the sacred motherly love. But right now, the choice was clear. All gave way to Henry, to the giggles and innocent eyes of his little child.